First official act. TV debut.
Can we start with Pledge of Allegiance? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item up is to open a public hearing on pre-application for the minor subdivision of 40 Narrow Lane LP. We have someone here from the applicant. Please step up to the podium.
So good afternoon, board members. Wayne Bruin, O'Shea Marcinson Bruin on behalf of the applicant. 40 Narrow Lane LP. William Hocking is the principal partner, as well as other family members. This board may remember this property back in 2016. The Hocking family proposed a 6-lot subdivision of the property, 5 or 6 lots. And we got to the point of public hearing, but just before that, the town had made an offer to the Hocking family to purchase the development rights over the portion of the property that is open in agriculture. Just for the record, the property is located on the northeastern corner of Sag Road and Narrow Lane East. It's also on the south side of the Long Island Railroad. Total acreage is 9.684 acres. Proposed is a 2-lot subdivision. Lot 1 is the easterly 97,260 square foot parcel of land, included with a single family dwelling, swimming pool, and other accessory uses, driveways, things of that sort. Lot 2 is the remainder of the property, 324,592 square feet with 7.452 acres, which is now encumbered with the grant of development rights easement with affirmative and affordable farming covenants and resale restrictions. That was granted to the town. To be able to convey the 2 properties separately or even to sell the entire property, there are certain restrictions that require the value of the resale on the development rights portion to be a certain number versus the other. So the intent of the applicants here is to separate this so the house lot could be sold separately and the farm could be sold separately to the farm. We made this application in June. We've scheduled this hearing as a pre-application. Today, we realized the property is also, the subdivision is considered a non-listed action under seeker, so we submitted a long form EAF today for your review, and your consultant's review. And we would hope that the board, before we get to a point of submitting the final, would take this up as to consider a negative declaration under seeker so that we can proceed with the health department. The health department will process the application without the village's negative declaration. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer. Trying to keep it brief.
Anybody on the board have a question?
I remember from 2016 as well as talking to Mr. Hopping back then, so I have no questions. We're very thankful that he preserved the farming area. He's done a nice job of that.
Thank you.
Anybody in the public wish to address this topic? Board members have any comments? Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
To Wayne's request, would this resolution, could this resolution reflect the neg deck
Sure, yes,
The what?
negative declaration under secret.
So we can proceed with the health department.
So this
We can proceed with
resolution
that,
that
yeah.
Eugene read into the record, Mayor,
That what?
how do you want to
So we'll just add it as a third resolve to this resolution.
resolve? Okay.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, okay.
So the board has before the resolution, proposed resolution on the lot line modification. That you'll recall that on our August 9th, 2023 application, we waived certain subdivision requirements, also in consultation with the village's consultant regarding the waiver of the cluster subdivision requirement and the park requirement, being that there's no proposed houses to be built, really just preserving and cutting off the property that's already reserved for the town of Southampton. We took that action in August. So today, the resolution as presented is the board hereby closes the pre-application public hearing for the lot line modification pre-application for 40 Narrow Lane LP. Is further resolved that the board directs the village planner, Richard Warren, to draft a pre-application report for the board's consideration at the October 11th, 2023 meeting, and that the board has considered the long form EAF and issues a negative declaration thereunder.
I'll make the resolution.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I will give you this formal resolution after I file it.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Good to see you, Wade.
Give me a call.
Oh, yeah, on the building, yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next, old business, we have a subdivision application for 351 Bridge Lane LLC. And they're still working on paperwork problems. So I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this to our October 11th meeting.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Great. On to the final application for lot line modification of Gretchen Topping and Corner House at Sagaponic LLC. Is this something that you?
Yes.
You're on?
Yes, I'm
Okay,
happy to take it. Thank you. This is the resolution of final approval for 791 Sag Main Street, 135 Gibson Lane. Board is very well familiar with this lot line modification. This is one of the final axes we're getting there, which again, as the board members last time was very positively received. Included in the board's packet is a resolution for final approval on the light blue tab. There's only one modification to the resolution as presented to the board today, that we're going to add in a whereas at the bottom, at the top of the second page, it just adds in whereas there shall be no buildings allowed on parcel B, just to make it clear. There was a question about the extent of the town's easement language and agreement. We just want to make it crystal clear from the village's point that there's, for the parcel B that's within the village, that there'll be no buildings allowed on that parcel at all.
Is that lot 1 or lot 2?
I think it's lot A and B, isn't it? Oh,
Yeah.
it would be 2 under this.
The survey has numbers
survey,
on it.
yeah.
Oh, okay, so.
Yeah, so it would, I thought it was B, I think the easement has it as B.
Just double check. Glad you said that then.
Yeah, parcel 1 and 2 is on the modification map.
Yep.
Probably should change.
And we do have Rich Warren with us as well, the village planner.
It would be lot 2.
I'm glad you said that, Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there should be no building allowed on lot 2. That's the addition that's going to be included. And otherwise, the resolution is as presented to the board in the packet.
And I have a question, Brian. If the easement document for the town is referencing those lots as A and B as opposed to 1 and 2, should that be corrected as well to reflect that, so we're all on the same page?
So I think we should say parcel B, also known as parcel 2.
Okay.
And that, parcel B and parcel 2 will cross-represent in the amended resolution, just so that it's clear what it is.
Okay, got it.
So this is what it was, and this is what it will be?
No, that's what it was. This is what it's going to be. the corner lot up here is where the house exists. So that parcel.
Well, they
two-
have parcel one as this lot two.
Well,
looks
this is
like.
what exists right now.
Okay,
What you're looking at there is what exists right now.
yeah,
Okay, so the parcel two is now going to be, the lines are gonna be redrawn to make that
lot one.
encompass where the existing house is.
Mhm.
Now, that will be lot one, and then lot two is all of this,
What parcel one was.
what parcel one was,
That's confusing.
okay? So
Don't you
that's,
think?
yeah, I see what you're saying, they should have labeled it parcel one and two, I got you, but that's it.
Okay, I'll make that resolution.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
I,
Great.
Thank you.
It's nice to see that continue to move forward.
That's a
Absolutely.
very,
Yes.
that's a
Absolutely.
4 years worth of work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's been,
Yeah,
it's been there a
it
while.
was on the board's focus back in 2005, believe it or not.
Yeah, who was?
Al Kelman was.
Al Kellerman
very-
used to talk about it, yeah.
Right,
It's funny you brought him up, right?
in the beginning.
In the beginning, in
Yeah.
2005. Well, it's such a visual view that people who come here always talk about after the fact, so it's wonderful. We can. It's
yeah,
a
little piece.
little piece, but it has a big heart.
Let's see,
Bill, I'm not sure that, do you need Rich any longer?
I don't think so. I always need Rich, but there's probably better things you can do.
That's fine, that's fine with me.
You look like he's in the Miami office. So we're in Miami.
Yeah, something like that. I'm just downstairs because I'm working on my computer upstairs.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you.
Thank you. very
Okay, all right, thanks. Good to see you. Bye-bye. Yep, bye-bye.
The next is the site plan application of 583 Hedges Lane. So we have somebody here to present. Ah, great.
You got it. We only need one because.
Mayor.
Yeah.
Bill
No.
Hopkins.
It's hard to read it on the screen.
Good afternoon, my name is Tom Hartman, I'm a landscape architect representing Paul and Melissa Curie, 583 Hedges Lane. They are in the process of constructing a new home on the lot. When they acquired the property, it was very overgrown with vegetation. And along the eastern border is a 50-foot wide drainage easement. The first time that I stepped on the site, there was red cedars that were falling in the area, and it was just a disaster in terms of overgrown plant material, and the easement wasn't functioning properly. So what we are asking for is that we can remove the remaining eastern red cedars within the drainage easement, just slightly recontour the property to promote positive drainage through the property, not changing the inlet, the height, entering the property or exiting the property. That'll all remain the same.
Is there any puddling there now when it rains?
There's puddling from water that's pulled on the site, not from water moving through the site.
Oh.
Yeah. But
Okay,
it's not properly drained.
right, okay.
What we're asking for is to create an area that will be maintained in a turf grass. Allow for drainage.
So you're taking out the trees?
We would like to take out the trees. The trees, exhibited photographs of the trees, they're in
Bad
real
shape?
bad shape. The branches are falling down and possibly, like I said, when I first,
Are they cedars?
they used to raise them.
And I see a list of things to be planted. You've got just some kind of fescue blend in the middle, and then you
Yeah,
have some
the
other.
idea is the darker areas of the border, we were just hoping to get a herbaceous meadow. Again, something that will be cut down to the ground each year and maintained
This says hedge here, a 12-foot hedge?
between the properties, yeah.
Not their hedge. Is it their hedge?
I think the majority of the hedge is on 583.
So the 12-foot hedge is there already.
Yes, it's a perfect hedge.
Would this be irrigated?
We prefer to have irrigated if possible.
I would think, I mean, if it's a, have you looked at the soil? There is some kind of soil in this area, something that will grow vegetation. Yeah. I mean, it seems that currently people tend to turn on the irrigation system and let it run day and night. Not day and night, but, you know, very frequently, depending whether it rains or not. I'm a little leery of having permanent irrigation in it. I mean, if you have a decent soil to begin with, some of this stuff should take over and prosper there.
Do it naturally.
Yeah, I mean, a temporary system maybe, at least a separate zone, separate zoning, so it's not part of the main lawn around the house.
Kevin, our village engineer, is also on board if you wanted to do his report.
Kevin, you want to jump in here?
Yes, surely. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So it's Kevin Peterman from LKMA as the village consulting engineer. Just a big picture of the application for the board. We reviewed the application materials submitted on behalf of Paul and Melissa Keary for the proposed development at 583 Hedges Lane. Subject property has an area of just under 2 acres and is currently being improved with a single-family residence, swimming pool, pool house, and tennis court, all of which we understand to be covered under a separate building permit. The property is encumbered by a village drainage easement along its eastern boundary, and the applicant is submitting a site plan application in accordance with Village Code sections 245, 65B, and F, where grading, clearing, and tree removal is proposed in excess of 2,000 square feet, and natural topography of the land will be altered. Under the subject application, the applicant proposes to remove, it seems about 11 eastern red cedar trees, all of which are reported to be in severe decline. Those are within the village drainage easement. Also, the applicant is proposing to regrade the area within the easement to create a drainage swale and control sheet flow. Our review focused on the drainage easement plan prepared by Thomas Harton, dated August 14th, which we do have some comments on. I don't know if you guys would like to pull that up at this time and we can walk through them together.
Which one is that, Kevin?
That's this plan.
This one I just pulled up?
Yes, exactly.
Let's see if I can get it.
Okay, so our first comment was pretty much to provide a deed or a record easement agreement describing the drainage easement on the property. This really should have been included in the original submission. Brody was kind enough, the village was kind enough to send us over a copy of what was on their file server. So we were able to review that and this comment will be resolved, but just moving forward and for the record, the applicant really should be providing that record information for us to review and to look at. Second comment we had, just to confirm the diameter and the invert elevation on the left side of that page there, that existing culvert. So when you cross over or under rather Hedges Lane, there's a drainage pipe that crosses under the road. We just want to confirm the diameter and the invert elevation of that culvert. We did take a ride out to the site just to see what existing conditions look like. That area where the culvert kind of discharges, where the pipe comes out of the street, it's very overgrown and we couldn't actually get a visual on what's happening there. So if the applicant could just confirm, the diameter and the invert of that pipe, that would be helpful for us. Really what we want to try to understand is what is the volume of water that's coming through here? And I think the mayor hit it right on the head before. Has there been any reported issues of flooding in this area? Has there been any reported issues of standing water on the property? Does the applicant have any idea how much water they're actually going to be containing in this swale? And to that end, what sort of erosion protection measures do they need to provide and build into this swale to prevent the swale from being eroded away? Additionally, we're looking for some more details on the drainage swale cross section. So at the bottom left-hand side of this page, excuse me, the applicant's design professional provides a cross section of the swale. And while it does paint a picture of the intent, we see some of those drainage flow arrows going into the swale. It's not labeled with any minimum or maximum slopes. So we would just ask that some more information be added to that depicting the minimum and maximum slopes. Excuse me. And then on the plan itself, we would recommend that more information, more grading spot elevations be added to the bottom and the top of the swale. And we're requesting that the applicant kind of demonstrate what he's really looking to accomplish with that swale. And by labeling the top of swale and the bottom of swale at regular intervals on the plan, we'll be able to know for sure that he's going to, that he's making an effort to do the right thing. And that's what we want to just confirm. Additionally, there's a solid line running through the drainage easement, which I was having trouble figuring out what that is. So it's right where that 50-foot drainage easement is labeled. Yeah, that line right there where your mouse is. Yep. I'm not sure what that line is on the provided property survey. It looks like it's a property line type, and I don't want to make any assumptions. So, in this next submission, if the applicant can clarify what that line is, if that's just a floating line or if it's intended to mean something. If it's a center line of the easement, I'm not really sure. It doesn't seem like it would be, but if they could provide some clarification on that, that would be wonderful. Next, pretty important, the amount of disturbance. If the applicant can clearly depict and quantify the limit of clearing and ground disturbance on the plan, they should be labeling existing and proposed grading spot elevations along the limit of disturbance to prove that we're meeting existing grade where the limit of disturbance is. And that's going to be instrumental in proving that the grading associated with this proposed swale is going to be within the character of the existing drainage easement. And that is to say that overland sheet flow will maintain the same patterns. So even when this applicant, should the village board, approve their proposal, we just want to make sure that the historical flow is maintained, that more flow is not being pushed into the neighbor to the south, and that flow is not going to be disrupted downstream. That's kind of what we're looking for there.
So which way is the flow? North
It's
to
going
south?
from page left to page right, from north to south.
North to south, and it will continue to do that? So
Based
why
on the
have a pipe underneath the road?
Comes from the property across the road.
Crosses underneath it.
There's the same easement carry on the south, on the other side.
So was this a natural swale in the first place?
Yep.
Yes,
And that's why we had the drainage easement?
yes.
So you're not putting in a swale, you're continuing the swale, right? Yeah.
The 2 points of entry and exit are maintaining the same elevation.
Yeah, I think there's a little ride up and down like through it,
Yeah,
and they're trying to smooth it out so the water keeps going.
yeah,
At least from looking at the spot elevations on the plan.
okay. Who's south of you? It's another home, not a field.
It's a home.
That's-
Just to the west of the flag lot.
See, here's the house
Oh,
there.
okay,
Sure,
okay.
right.
Let me take a photo.
Goes into Erica's Lane.
Gotcha.
Tom, where is this? I notice you have the state fencing on this
Oh, yeah,
plan.
yeah.
Where,
The estate fence would go across the garage.
come across the garage?
To the back of the garage. Oh, here,
Yeah, it's across the swale.
Right
on
here.
the-
So the question is it across the swell? And
It is.
Yes, it is.
Is that going to, and Kevin, this perhaps is a question for you, is that gonna prohibit or impede the flow on this particular fence?
I think it's pretty open.
That's why.
Yeah, the fence does have openings based on the detail provided. I don't know the spacing of those openings, but I guess if enough leaves collected at the base of the fence, it may cause some sort of disruption, but off the bat, I wouldn't think that it would be an issue.
Icebergs.
It's to keep the neighbor's sheep out of their drainage.
I just had two more things I wanted to just bring out real quick, if that's okay with the board.
Yeah, sorry I interrupted.
No, please, that's okay, no problem at all. So like I said, just two more quick things. The first is just to provide some earthwork computations or verify if there are, if it's net zero earthwork. Are you bringing in material? Are you getting rid of material? Is it net zero? We want to know for sure what's happening in here. If there is an existing swale, based on the provided information, I couldn't tell for sure that there is an existing swale. So regardless, earthwork calculations would be helpful for us. And lastly, the site plan needs to have a kind of a formal title block saying who prepared the plan, the address of the person who prepared the plan, and it needs to be signed and sealed by a licensed professional in New York State. And that pretty much wraps up our comments on this one.
So what we have is about 2 feet of elevation change going from the left to the right in the drawing over about 530 feet, which doesn't really make water flow unless you've got a lot of rain. Yeah. So hopefully most of the water goes back into the water table. 2 feet over that distance isn't much. Good. Do you have any questions for the consultant?
No, I think everything's quite clear.
Okay. Any other questions board has about
This
this?
is on a hill, right, that goes west?
No,
Or no?
it's kind of at the bottom.
The existing tennis court is elevated.
Uh-huh. Okay.
It's fairly flat.
Any other questions?
Is the gravel driveway, is that permanent down here? Or is that just for workers?
The gravel driveway is a flag, that's a shared drive to the flag lot.
Oh, with other people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mayor, you want to entertain a motion to adjourn it till October 11th for the applicant to resubmit for the engineer's comments?
Right.
Second?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Should we indicate any irrigation? If we should remove any irrigation?
Well, I think, let's see, what's the width of the 50 feet?
50 feet.
I mean, you could maybe have heads which
We'll have a temporary system.
adjustable that on the property, the edge of the swale would shoot out. And then someday you could just reset I know the hunter heads are adjustable arc. You could reset them or whatever. Because I don't think it's a great thing to water it forever. I mean, it should establish something that likes that soil type and the water conditions will eventually take it over. Probably mugwort, but.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So it's a fescue lawn, they're gonna be seeding here.
Yeah, in theory
Putting
that should
chemicals
work.
on,
Yeah.
and so then the drainage will chemically.
Hopefully it'll go down and they won't be spraying or feeding. Hopefully. But the property is fairly secluded, so you're not gonna know what they're doing.
Yeah, I know. This goes behind Lockheed's place, right?
No,
No, I
it's
think
Old Barn.
That barn
It's
way
across the
down.
street from
I
Old
have
Barn.
this totally wrong in my head. Oh, this is
It's
Old
on
Barn.
Hedges.
Yeah, I know Old Barn.
Is that opposite, what's the name of the little road there by the culvert?
Old Barn Lane.
Oh, it was where the McGee's used to live across the street in that section.
I was thinking this was by Johnson's house.
Oh, way down the road.
Yeah.
That's on the,
That's
on
where
the
I'm from,
east end.
A hill.
And Bill, do you need Kevin any more?
Thank you, Kevin. I love your reports. Lots of detail. Very
My pleasure.
organized.
My pleasure. Thank you, everyone. It's great to see you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Now we have a backlog of minutes to approve. I did go through all of them. There were just minor, nothing that mattered. Some tiny little regularities, which I didn't bother to list. Have enough people read them that we could approve them.
Yes.
I was impressed that there were 5 of them or so, whatever to do.
Well,
I was like,
I
whoa.
think Rody was burning the midnight oil to finally get these things.
No, I had everything. The only one I had to do for this meeting was 3. So I already had the 2, I had 2 sets already done.
Thank you, Ruby.
I knew, I'm sure.
I think we all particularly appreciate the very data-heavy Mr. Rochetta and how Rhodey got that all accurately, and how many deer and doe otherwise were culled. Good job, Rhodey.
Kind of a harvest report.
Right.
Can we do these all en masse?
Sure. You're,
Okay,
won't you do them all?
we have July 12th of 2023, August 9th of 2023, June 21st, July 19th, and August 16th. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as they are printed.
Sure, a second.
All in favor?
I
Great, thank you. We had a police report come through,
Oh,
always fun reading.
The TCO that was assigned us, I don't know if it was the same person every day, but did a nice job of monitoring Peters Pond Beach and Gibson Lane. If
Yeah.
you ever talked about that person with the chief, they did a nice job. And they kept the people from parking on both sides.
CO and who?
The TCO that
Oh,
was going around to Gibson Beach and to Peters Pond Beach.
I thought you said 2 people.
Well, I don't know if it's 1 or 2 people.
Oh, I
Depends
see.
on who's on.
Who's
Oh,
on.
I see.
But it seemed to improve the parking problems.
Mhm.
yeah, I've noticed radar traps in different places than before,
Mhm.
and stop sign, park near stop signs and all that.
Well,
They're out there.
I'm doing both July and August together here. I
Sure.
didn't do it for July, but I did do it for August. Seeing where every traffic stop was and the time of day and who did it. And then I took averages, and at the end of the day, it was 50% on Montauk Highway and 50% off Montauk Highway. Just for your information. All right, so,
When is your next, or our village's next meeting with the chief?
yearly,
Mm,
right, once a year?
This is actually 4 times in the
Oh, really?
document, but we usually do it 2 times. We used to do it in the spring. And it got late this year, so it's actually in the summer. Anytime you want a meeting, I'm sure the chief will come down and do it.
Yeah.
Another one before next spring.
Okay, so, let's go forward with the July and August. I'll just talk about both of them at the same time. The abandoned 911 calls.
Mhm.
July was 13 and August was 11. An accident left scene, but no PI. There were 2 in July and none in August. Accident, no PI. There were 2 in July and 2 in August. Now, I don't know where they are, and they aren't listed as accidents. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. There is one listed as an accident on page 18. And that was Sagmain and Parsons, I think. Sagmain and Parsons. Yep, that is in Parsons, yep. And then accidents prior, I'm not sure what that means. July is 1 and August was 2. And then accidents with PI, 1 in July and none in August. I don't know where they were. Aided cases, we had 7 in July and 1 in August. Burglar alarms, we had 8 in July and 7 in August, and I believe they were basically false alarms. Carbon monoxide, 1 in July, 2 in August. Fire alarms, 18 in July, 19 in August, all false. Well, I would say 95% false. Panic alarms, 6 in July, 2 in August. Ambulance calls, 7 July, 4 August. Animal complaints, 7 in July, none in August. They all took their animals, leave them. Check welfare. 2 in July and 1 in August. Disabled vehicles, none in July, 2 in August. Civil disputes, 1 in July and none in August, and domestic disputes, none in July and 1 in August. Neighbor disputes, none in July, 1 in August. Fire brush, July, there was 1, none in August. Do you know what that was? Fire building, there was 1 in July, none in August. Fire other, 1 in July, 2 in August. I mean, you know, I know you can tell what's on these pages. It's not a lot. Tent inspections, 1 in July, 4 in August. Verbal harassment, 1 in July, none in August. That's pretty good.
Yeah, August seemed really busy. There would have been more of harassment.
Larceny, other priors, 2 July, 1 August. License plate lost or stolen, 1 in July, 1 in August. Marine incident, 2 in July, 1 in August. Noise complaints, 11 in July and 9 in August. Parking complaints, 7 in July, 8 in August. Pedestrian stop, never heard of that. July 1, August none. Property damage, 1 in July, none in August. Property loss, none in July, 1 in August. Reckless driver, 7 in July and 4 in August. And I believe there were some that ended in arrests, and they were basically on Montauk Highway. School walkthroughs, they did 1 each month. Special event reviews, 1 in July, 2 in August. Suspicious incident, 4 in July, 1 in August. Suspicious person, none in July, 2 in August. Suspicious vehicle, 2 in July, none in August. And traffic hazard, 7 in July, 2 in August. Traffic stops, 132 in July and 118 in August. Trespass, 1 in July, none in August. Unwanted subs at the premises, 1 in July, none in August. And 3 vehicle lockouts in July and 2 in August. And there were 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 6 arrests. Mostly on Montauk Highway, 1 on Sag Main, another on Sag Main and Sag Road, Montauk Highway and Sag Main and Bridge Lane. But I don't know what exactly it was for.
I think this data that you've been working on for the last 2 months is awesome, and I think the chief really enjoys seeing it.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, I don't think we're pointing fingers, we're just trying to,
Well, I
Rein
was
in.
under the impression that it was more of a percentage on Montauk Highway, but it isn't. And I didn't go and figure out north of the highway and south of the highway, because both are just as important. So I just did the highway and not the highway.
Okay, thank you. We did get a letter, who was it, for somebody on Scott Line?
Oh, I had a question about Scott Line. Is that even in Sagaponic?
Yeah.
Okay.
The yeah, trying to get onto, what is it, Wainscott Harbor Road?
Maybe,
I
yeah.
mean, I know everybody speeds on it, but that was the first time anybody was commented on it.
Is that the cement highway?
Yeah, yep.
I
that's
love
it.
the cement highway.
Yeah, I know, I know.
Old school.
Old school.
I don't know,
It's
keep-
paved now, yeah.
Keep track of it. Thank you, Carrie.
A lot of work figuring out all that tiny data.
Well, there is one particular guy that wants to be on the highway, but I don't think he is.
Back to Porta John at the bridge. You know, I keep coming back to this because Alice and I get around a lot. And you see what they do other places, and we're not gonna be East Hampton. I mean, they just did a new public, they replaced the old public bathroom in Montauk. They put a new one up, which is really pretty nice, rugged. But I think we've got a posh community here, but it has minimal accommodations for the residents and for the transients. You know, we got people who bike and run and walk, and they crab, and they stand up paddleboard, and they kayak. And then we've got literally hundreds of workers who come in here. And before I became mayor, I had 3 locations, which I thought would be key to cover that whole group. There are other places you could put them for more specific, you know, just beach goers or something like that. But I thought the widest audiences could be accommodated at those 3 locations. And the first one always was for me, the bridge. Having fished there as a youth with the migrant workers and stuff, you realize, you know, that there's a need there, and it's really grown over time. And I think, you know, a place with so much money and so great accommodations on everybody's property, you know, putting a portage on there, it's a minimal cost, minimal liability to the village. I think it's something that we really need to do, and I'm willing to build a enclosure around it so it doesn't blow away. You don't see the plastic. And in that location, I would think it would be, to really hide it, a coat of dark green stain. There's some 12-foot tall vegetation, which would be directly around it. I think it's something we need to do. Rhodey told me I should take some pictures. So I did. And yeah, I'm standing in behind that brush. This was Alice took from the middle of the bridge as you approach it.
Looking east.
Yeah, looking east. And I'm back about where that, yeah, right in there, some places where I'm standing. And if you move forward as you go down the road, it's still back in behind all the brush. And then we took a photo, I think, from the other direction. And in that, you can actually see me.
Well, what's the little road up next to it? East of it.
You mean
Where
right
the
now?
stop sign is.
That's the gravel.
No, not that.
area
The
we
next
put in.
road, the right, if you're going east. Seascape?
Seascape, oh, I get it, going east.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to hear what I have to say about it?
Sure, absolutely.
I am dead against a porta john at
Okay.
the bridge. It's a bucolic, idyllic, beautiful setting. I wouldn't mind if you put it up a few hundred feet on that road somehow and hide it. You could put a little sign saying hidden porta john right around the corner or something, but not down at the pond. It just, to me, the pond is a sacred place in viewing.
Okay.
And I would hope that all the other board members would agree with me on that.
I would agree. I also feel and I appreciate you guys took the photos, that people would pull up and some of the rigs are so, you know, the double ones, the landscape double ones, that it would be very difficult to park because of the width, you know, as you're coming off the bridge. So I don't know, I kind of like Carrie's idea. I hadn't thought of it there, but I think that's a good idea.
I mean,
down
if
the
there has
road.
to be one in that area.
I've seen three bikers this week use the one at Sag Main. Three guys biking through. They go down and use it, and then they go about their trip. I've seen since the one on Peters Pond was put in, which I think is it's in a good location for what purpose you are trying to serve. But I've only seen two cars there. Now, granted, I didn't camp out there, but I've only seen two people use it. And only one of them was a worker. The other one was they were coming back from the beach. Now, that's not to say that there's a lot more that's maybe using it. Maybe we could get an idea from the guy. What does the guy pick it up once a month?
No, he cleans it once a
weekly
week.
service.
Weekly?
Yeah.
Okay. But I will reiterate my objection to anything on the bridge, coming over the bridge. I don't.
Does anybody want to take a tour of the edge of the pond and see what's there? If you talk to Mary Lee, who used to farm there years ago, she said it was disgusting.
Well, we do have a business being run, and a couple years ago, we tried to, a vehicle that had, I don't know, 20 boards on it, used to park there, and people would come, and I think it was Diva something or other, and there was another name. But now, when they were asked, they were told they just couldn't park for hours on end and run their business there. Now, the new way they're handling it is the vehicle has no name or identification on it. So the same thing is going
it's
on.
still being parked there?
Yes, and it would be on weekends more than weekdays. And I meant to research over the summer, like go on the internet and put in paddleboard rentals and see if somebody's claiming Sag Pond. And I mentioned it just casually in front of one of my daughters, and they said, oh, well, so-and-so had a little kid's birthday party there where you dropped your kids by Sag Bridge and the boards and the people were there, and then the kids put on little life jackets and they paddled down to Sag Main Beach, and that's where the birthday party ended, with probably cupcakes or something. And I go, oh, so I'm not imagining this person is doing this if somebody's doing a birthday party. So that being said, that's another, I think we want people to be able to park there and do their individual family recreation. But I don't think we want any more there because it will become a business location more, I think.
And you think a Porta John will make it a business location?
I think possibly more so. It's just a thought. I like the idea further down the road. I mean, we have a couple locations we could probably tuck it in further down the road there. You have the seascape area, and you also have some preserved land with big hedges in there that you could be tucked into.
Okay. Would you people be willing to meet me down there and just take a look at where this would go? Could we meet down there tomorrow morning?
Well, my question is, how much of is being affected by the homes on the pond? Is there anything to do with their?
Oh, you mean pollution?
Yeah, pollution. I feel like I remembered saying something about most of the pollution in Sag Pond was created by the homes.
Marilyn attends all those meetings, and she's not here today, but she has talked about the septic systems,
Yeah, the septic system
when they need to,
contribute most of the issues to Sag Pond.
I think she said that it was more of agriculture, which to me seems very difficult to believe because there's so little agriculture left.
Well, actually, I was reading about it and it said agriculture, but that the homes were more than the agriculture.
Oh, okay.
My son Matthew's father-in-law did some testing down there. He works for Peconic Estuary.
Oh,
And he also was working for, who has the rights along the edge of the pond there?
Peconic Land Trust?
Peconic Land Trust.
Yeah.
He did some work on the pond for the Peconic Land Trust. And his conclusion, as far as I know, was that the farming wasn't the cause of the excess nitrogen and pollution in the pond. It was the homes, mostly on the other side,
the Bridgehampton side.
in the Bridgehampton side. But I'm just looking at, I don't doubt that there's, crap there along the pond. And I don't doubt that people, the little kids have to go somewhere. But just from the aesthetics of it, I just don't like the idea of having it.
I think you people don't understand what it really will look like. I would really like you guys to meet me down there and see where it would go. You've got a 12-foot tall thing on either side of it, and it's not going to have much visual impact at all.
I don't like the idea of it being there, period, whether it's hidden in the bushes or underground.
It's kind of tacky. I mean, I thought the purpose of putting the one on Peters Pond was to resolve the problems with the,
Well, if you go over the bridge on all different times, I mean, I've seen 17 Hispanic people there, women, children, and men, fishing and crabbing in the evening. And something's going to happen. They definitely don't live here. So what are they going to do when the kid has to go?
well, there's no doubt in my mind that that's probably true. I haven't seen that many. I've only seen 2 or 3 at a time there. And if they eat the crabs that they get out of there, they're gonna get a bathroom close to home.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe could we, as a village, when we get a permit application or whatever, send in the mail or on the permit things, say where the porta potties are for the construction people, if
It's
they
not
don't.
about the construction, because construction sites that we issue building permits for, they have them on site. So
Okay.
we can certainly do that, but I don't think that's the issue.
No, it's the maintenance crews,
So
the
then-
guys who mow the lawns and cut the hedges, and there's a lot of
Well, maybe we could put some inconspicuous, cute signs up. I don't know.
Well,
As to
if you
show
have a
people to go to the
suggestion-
beach or to go to Peters Pond or to go to Narrow Lane.
Yeah. No,
Or to go to Sag store when it opens, or the
Right.
post op, well, the post office. Maybe when Sag store is open, we can put one there somewhere somehow.
Well, they'll have they've said that they're gonna have a bathroom available to the public, right? I mean, that's what I
That's
got.
what was in the plans.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah,
good,
so that's a.
but it's not gonna be like a porta john, you have to go in it and it has to be open
Yeah,
for you to use.
during store hours, it'll be open, right, assuming you can park there. If you have an alternate location, propose it and we'll take a look at it.
Rhodey and I are supposed to, unless schedule changed, Rhodey, we haven't discussed it in a week. Tomorrow morning, we're supposed to go down, and hang the, flag banner things.
And the
Oh, you got
big
that?
banner.
Oh, good.
I'll show it to you.
Perfect. I have all the, whatever, garbage bag, railroad ties and the correct measurement. I practiced on the loops of the bridge.
At Sag Bridge, you mean?
Yes.
Yep.
So, and we're also going to ask our police force while we're hanging on the side that doesn't have a walkway.
So we're moving on to
No, but I'm just
the
saying,
Saturday
we will be down there.
celebration. Yeah, okay.
And my question, combining two things into one type of idea. If anybody was helping us or wanted to stop while we're down there, we could look at
Okay, just let me know what time you're
Ridge
gonna be
Lane.
there.
I would say 10, I think we said,
What day?
tomorrow.
I can't do it.
The idea was to put the banners and the bunting or whatever, the flag bunting up prior to next week to get the message out.
Plus, it might slow a few people down.
Maybe we should put it, right on the road. To get back real quick to continue on the wedding, is there any provision for, how many people are supposed to be at this wedding?
Are we
Nobody
finished
got
with the Porta
canceled.
Johns? Are we finished with the Porta Johns?
Oh,
Well, I'm
Yeah.
kind of trying to tie it in.
We're finished, yeah.
Would you want to join us?
Is there gonna be a porta
I
potty?
was gonna go fishing, but
For
maybe
the
I
wedding?
will.
No.
Just,
Right, yep, absolutely.
we were working it so that Rhodey could start the office and then go, or we didn't make it immediately at 9, did we? There was some reason that it was at 10.
I think because needed to.
I could come
Yeah.
at 9, but I can't come at 10.
Well, you
Okay.
could go down at
I'll
9
meet you
and
at
then
9.
I'll be there at 10 with the banners and the flags.
I could meet you there at 9, Carrie.
We could do it in groups and then,
We should anyway.
oh yeah, that's right, we're not all supposed to be together.
Do the time.
Okay, and Bill, can Bill Tilson, Bill Barber 9? That's 3 people, we can't do that.
It's called a
Yeah, okay, so
forum.
quorum, well, Marilyn's away, correct?
No, I don't think she's away. She had a business thing today. So
Oh, okay.
she may be around tomorrow, but I'm not.
So
100% sure.
Bill Barber, you could come at 10 if these two are doing it at 9 and then we're not having a meeting, correct?
9:30.
Correct. However, we are gonna need some muscle to put the banner up.
Put the banner up? Where is the banner going?
We have to dig a hole to put stakes in? Oh dear. Bring John.
So. It doesn't work on Thursdays.
No, you're right.
Anyway, we'll figure that one out, finish with your Porta John.
All right, so we're gonna visit the site in twos and then, and Rhodey, if you can make Marilyn aware that she needs to visit
Mhm.
and
Sure.
think of other options in that area. As well as she should look at the photos of Bill and Alice took. So
Well, if
she,
you're actually there, that was because,
We weren't there.
yeah,
no, we were there, yeah.
To take photos, yeah.
Put it down there by Michael Davis's house.
Yeah. that'll go up.
So, speaking of which, because I was gonna talk about it later, but you know how we got those posts out on the old Matheson property after Michael Davis's new house was finished? So the guy on the other side just put posts up,
Oh,
little 6-foot spikes.
Oh, I saw him, yeah.
I just was like,
Keep
So,
people,
and-
from- is this to keep people from parking on the?
parking, or it would, if a car is coming and you want to get off the road with your bike
Yeah,
or a spike that's this tall, you're not gonna see in an emergency, you're just gonna
Right.
land on it. And it's on our land, I mean, the village's land or whatever,
Where was this again?
a bridge lane.
Originally.
So for tomorrow,
I'm gonna be
Carrie,
there at 9.
you and Bill will be there at 9.
Yep. You
And
wanna
then,
come on
I'll
after
come
9?
after 9:30.
Yeah,
and then Bill will go down there at 9:30. And then Lisa will be there at 10.
And
And then I'll call, get a hold of Marilyn and see if she can be there at 10:30. How's that sound?
sure.
so we're staggering ourselves. So the wedding was canceled?
Yep.
Oh dear.
What?
So-
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. It'd be a landmark thing, you know.
Oh my
Married,
gosh,
only happens
just
once in
canceled
100
yesterday.
years.
married? Who was gonna be
married?
Kate Schlesinger, Kate Stryker.
And she canceled yesterday, a week and a half out, wow.
Let's see, let's keep going.
Okay.
Cell boosters,
Well,
Rhoda,
back up to the bridge celebration there. We'll hang those banners and I have the banner in there, but I need at least a 4-foot pole, but a round pole. Can you get that from the hardware store?
I'll ask, and that's not normally my department of knowledge, but I'll ask.
Okay.
So it needs to be
And
4
just be under the count there, so just.
Okay, so, no, well, I'm not worried about that. It's to hold up, you need 2, don't you?
I actually need 3 per banner, and I have 2 banners.
You need 6
So,
stakes, we'll call
yeah,
them, 3 per banner.
we let the engineer go already.
No. But to put those stakes in correctly, don't you?
want help?
Don't you need, what am I trying to call it? How do you,
Slide hammer, yeah.
yeah, that tool, looks like.
There's a couple of them there, it looks like, yeah.
Oh, good.
So this is what it looks like. So we need to put this, so I think this is 3 feet. If we do 4 or 5 foot, it will go in the ground, and then we can attach it. And then
Sure.
maybe put one in the center. It's gonna be a little breezy this weekend. So,
You have 4.
4, yeah, you got the
So,
Yeah,
four.
we got
four, so that's
4
8.
columns, we got 4 stakes.
Zip ties, good to go.
So we're gonna need some muscle to
Yeah.
use that tool.
Where was it gonna go?
Post hole digger?
on the,
At the entrance to
at the
the,
entrance to the bridge on the north side as you're heading west, and then on the south side as you're heading east. Like one. I do have one of those 2 shoes.
Okay.
Post hole diggers?
You
No,
say
it's
it's
not
called
a
a
digger,
slide
it's
hammer.
it's a pounder inner.
Slide hammer, yeah.
So it's called,
you couldn't just put it on the side of the rail?
well, then you won't see it, Bill.
Well, if
You
they
need
go
it in your
slow enough,
face.
they'll see
Well, that's where we're putting the,
it. Slow down, look
that's
at the
where we're putting the
banner.
flags. The
Uh,
flags are going on the
It's
bridge.
more banners.
Oh,
we have
and
No,
Well,
no,
it's gonna be done
12
up.
how long
bunting
is-
things that go
they're
across.
called
When
bunting.
is the official
Yeah, the bunting flag.
celebration?
Noon, I guess.
The 23rd,
Of
23rd
September?
of noon?
Oh,
Yeah.
geez, what day is that?
a week from
It's a
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah. You had originally said 11 to 1 with the wedding at 12.
Well, you have it closed and,
Right,
yeah, so people
so,
can drift in if they want. Ann Sanford can say a few words about the history of
so we'll
Sagaponic.
have Ann do the 12 o'clock, take that 12 o'clock
Should we break
slot.
a bottle of champagne on the
I was
bridge?
thinking that, Bill.
Oh, jeez,
I was thinking that too.
pollution.
Oh, the official light, probably clear a little bit of it up in there. So, that, and do you think we need the microphone or that one that you got? Do you think that would be sufficient?
I don't know, I'll bring it, if we bring both, one of them
Okay.
will work, we could try it,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Is this advertised by,
It's on the website.
Oh,
It's
it
on
is.
the web,
An
it's
email
not on
went
the, did I put it on the website? I don't know if
No,
I put
I
it there
guess
yet,
the
but the
email
email
went.
went out yesterday, but I'm gonna
Oh.
send another one out by the end of the week with just the invitation
Okay.
to that, because
And you could be able to take a picture by then, to
Yeah.
go on your second email, like
there we
with
go.
the stuff.
So, and there, I do, I found the folder, I do have the words of the songs that you gave to me, that Lee wants to sing.
Oh, okay,
Oh, my.
What songs are they?
so a tribute to female farmers. I
Okay.
wrote it for Mary Lee.
There's one.
What?
Oh, no, we got another one too.
I'm not a farmer.
Sure you are.
Sure you are.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so that's,
You're a marketing executive.
that's what we will, that's what we'll do. Now, I'm not gonna be here next week, but I will have my access to my emails. So hopefully I'll be able to get everything squared away.
Are you coming to the celebration?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Cell boosters. Rhodey did a bunch of research.
I'm excited about
Yeah.
this.
Well, there's a whole new,
I heard about the wrinkle, not a wrinkle,
No.
no, whole new possibility.
It's not really a wrinkle, but I investigated the two avenues of getting boosters or the tower or a smaller version of. The boosters are, I talked to the guy that put the one down at Sagmain Beach.
Okay.
He works with Optimum to do it, but they need a clear site in order to do it. So all those boosters, it would not work in the village because you probably have to put one outside of each house in order for it to be effective. So he said you might be able to get one down in Gibson, and you might get a couple of, maybe 10 houses that would be effective.
But you have clear land
How
on
about farm fields?
parsonages
Well,
and.
yes,
Those big spots.
Yeah, I didn't tell them no, it's just that that's what they need in order for those to work.
If you go to Sag parking lot and you hook up and you leave the parking lot, and as you get to that little kind of culvert or whatever it is, it falls off.
Right.
That's how far away. It ain't very far.
Right, and that's what he said, if the distance is
Yeah.
not great, and you do need clear sight.
Clear sight to what?
Between the repeater and you. So there can't be a building in the way, there can't be trees in the way, so in order for you to pick that signal up, there can't be anything in the way.
Has to be
It's
tall.
weak. That's what it is. It's
Right.
weak. Yeah,
It's weak.
not a good thing.
Right, and he did say that, and, you know, they do cost money, each individual one. The tower that was, because they also talked to the guy from the Parks and Rec, where they put it at the building. They have them in other places in Southampton town, where they had like a tower on the pavilion, which is similar to, I think, what they have down at Sagmain Beach. And that one tower is $10,000 just for that one tower. So anyway, if you want me to get more information on it, I can
I would
get it.
love you to.
No, just a minute.
Oh.
Before you jump on that, but let me finish my spiel. So then I sent an email out to the guy that's put the proposer to us on the tower here in Village Hall. And I asked, the email that I sent was, can you give us something smaller? Is there something that you can propose to us that's not that large? As I hit that send, I get another email in from the tower, a proposal to go down at Old Stove Pub for the very similar tower that was proposed in the backyard here. So we have that right now that Brian has in front of him, which you will be, because our code says that you as the board have to look at that proposal. It's an application. So Brian has it, and it will be, we will review that at the, as long as everything is okay in that application, because this is the first one we've ever gotten.
Yeah.
He'll look it over. Chris is gonna give us a kind of a marching orders, ABCD, what the board is supposed to do in relation to that, the code. So this could solve all of our problems because it is the same type of tower they were proposing in the backyard.
And the one proposed years back, did the whole village.
That's correct. If they started
From my
with
memory,
this
yeah.
property and then this probably further beyond.
Further, other people might be happy.
This is the guy at Old Stove Pub is,
The owner of Old Stone
Joe.
Pub property, he doesn't own the property, runs the business, he has the restaurant. The owner of the property is proposing to put a tower there. So
who owns the property, you know?
it's a LLC.
Ah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what you will see.
It's
So
Kenny Schwank.
perhaps, it's not Kenny, perhaps all of that, you know, we don't have to do the rest of the research on that, that this could answer.
This could be.
Did the guy ever get back to you about putting a smaller one up?
He did get back to me, only to tell me that he's in Europe at the moment, and he would get back to me when he returns, which is somewhere at the end of September. So that, I can still ask that question.
Yeah.
or
So
discuss that with him.
it's a moneymaker, right?
Not as much as
Property
we thought it would be,
Property owner.
Yeah. You get a special use permit, that this board gets granted a special use permit, because it's not like granting a business or a house or, you know, some zoning use, it's a special use permit granted by the village board of trustees, as it complies with environmentals and setbacks and visibility and those kind of things. So we'll do an analysis as to what their proposal is in the Old Stove Pub, where the height is. It's very, our code is very specific on what they can do. We have a certain narrow parameter under the Federal Communications Act that villages can actually do. But yeah, so we'll look at it, we'll have an analysis for the next meeting.
Wow.
This is exciting.
So there we go. That's the
October 11th.
update
Stay
on
tuned.
that.
Assembly permits.
Harry, you're back on.
There we go.
The
Alright.
repeats, right? I mean, this is stuff that's happened
Well,
before. that-
first dates, yeah, how long have they been around?
And this one, we've done,
Wolford, a while.
this activity, I'd say every one of my 15 years on the board.
Okay.
So
So Saturday, October 7th, from 12 to 5, you're having the estate harvest party. And it's on 3 acres, there's 525 people to attend, 75 to work it, so 600 folks. Having lunch, a barrel rolling, grape stomping, games, and live music. Expected 400 vehicles. There will be a valet, it's Herm Lamison. There will be on-site security, it'll be Roman Stanford, excuse me. LLC. National Waste will be the refuse. Porta potty, bathrooms, yes. There's a portable, out back, there'll be a portable toilet, 24-inch trailer with 8 stations, handicap portable toilets and regular portable toilets. No police, no highway, and no inspector. There is a PA system, live band, no lighting, 1 generator, I don't know the size. It's an annual event. They have security, they have a parking plan in the back here, which to me seems awfully far away from the venue, but whatever.
they always use that same thing, so it must work. Maybe they have little carts to move people with it.
Yeah,
Well, they also have a whole, it shows it, where they have the vending.
vending,
Is this Montauk Highway?
this is Montauk Highway,
Yes,
that's the wine
winery.
stand.
So they have all these little vending trucks and stuff back in there.
Event space,
Yeah, here you go.
walking path.
That's a good thing. That's
Oh,
the layout.
this is that.
I think that fits into here.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I see. Okay. Any questions? Does anyone have any questions?
Make a motion to approve it.
Second,
All in favor?
Then there's a garden party, Michael Davis and Terry Cohen Davis on September 22nd. That's right around the corner. 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. for a party right before Jonathan Davis' wedding at 206 Parsonage Pond Road. Let's see, it's at the residence, there's a tent, the number of people are 90, 10 to work it, so 100 people. It's plus or minus 30 vehicles expected. The valet company is Hampton Parking Valet. I think that's Herman. The catering company is Dreesen's. There's no police, no highway, no inspector. No portable bathrooms. There will be background music, a bistro lighting, and a 30 by 60 tent. And the parking, you know, that place is tight,
I know,
and it's got all those trees there.
yeah, but there's enough in the village area for
Okay.
them to park. And I think Michael's invited the whole neighborhood anyway.
He said 100 people.
You didn't get
I looked
invited?
at it and I talked to her, and there was a party previous just to the south of him, just next door to him. And they park about the same amount of cars in that same area. There's no
Okay.
issues.
Make a motion to approve.
second,
All in favor?
aye.
Let's see. Finally, after 14 months of asking, I found 2 people stepped forward for the Architectural Historic Review Board. Alicia Goldstein is, I guess, finally has time to slow down a bit. Her mother had a house here since the 90s, and they and her husband just built I don't know what the house looks like, but something on Daniels Lane, some kind of big house. I asked her what she thought of the AHRB, and she said it was a very interesting experience to get their house through the approval. had no objection to it and wants to be on the board.
I don't know.
She works internationally on developing all kinds of high-end properties, and she works with architects and designers and marketing people. And apparently she wants to be around here more and wants things to do here. The other one, Catherine Berry, is a licensed New York State architect. In the conversation, since what is it, Winnacoma and Greenridge Cottage were both on the market, long before I talked to her, she said she looked at the architecture of those houses since they're for sale. I guess she went on the property and got the tour of the places and seemed very interested in the architecture of that period and, you know, its importance to the community. Anyway, they're both qualified and interested, and Barry has a house somewhere on Main Street, 120 something.
Yes. It's, yeah, I can't remember exactly what.
Right in the backyard here?
They've needed alternates, and that's great. And they both have interest. And yeah, I think that the first question I asked both of them was, I said, can you come to a meeting on the fourth Friday at noon? On Monday. No, I did say Monday. Yeah, I wrote it down before I asked them. And no problem, because I had interviewed somebody some months ago, and then I said it's a Monday at noon. They, oh, I teach at NYU on Mondays. It was like, well, I guess I should have asked that first. Anyway, I make a motion to appoint them as alternates to the Sagaponic Architectural Historic Review Board.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
It must be that boyish charm of yours.
No,
These girls-
no, I mean, I don't really
She's a
know.
developer.
I knew,
I actually have some.
what's her name, Goldstein. Her husband's name is Plusky, and I saw him like a year ago. And maybe that planted the seed. You know, every time I see somebody I don't know, I say, do you know anybody who has time to
No,
come? You know,
The other one is
Yeah.
Ken,
And I guess,
for the end.
yeah,
Always use volunteers.
yeah.
They're toward the end, across from where, the culvert is there at the end of Dennis, where it dips.
Another topic, we've had problems with attendance on the boards. I mean, I know you're aware of it because with Don, you did a local law where he could remove people, replace people who don't show up to the boards. And I just bring this up because I've been talking to, we have a couple of people who I very much want to be on the boards, but who aren't showing up. And I've talked to them, and I'm going to talk to them again, but it may be that we're going to have to replace one or two board members. You know, people have a right to be applicants who want to, whatever they're applying for.
You have a lot of people coming in to do it?
To what?
Want to be on the boards?
Well, we have alternates, yeah. And I've got somebody else who would be on a board. This is the person who couldn't show up on the fourth Monday, who teaches at NYU on Mondays. But we have people available. I'm going to make another push to get, I don't want to mention names, maybe you know who. But people have a right to be heard by the board, and repeatedly not showing up, sometimes not even responding to an email. We don't know if they're going to show up. The chairman of the board doesn't know if he's going to have a quorum. It's not fair.
No.
And if you want to be on the board, you got to show up. You know, it's not like, you know, what else is there? You know, you show up and you don't show up. You don't show up, then don't be on the board. And
On August 28th, Architectural and Historic Review Board had barely quorum, you're correct?
Yeah,
And on zoning, September 8th, which I think was last Friday, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
There were 3 people and Jay was online, but I'm assuming, even though he asked a couple questions, he couldn't vote, correct?
No, Jay had the excuse. He
Yeah,
couldn't-
he had a health issue.
Oh, all right, I just
Right.
assumed maybe he couldn't make it, and,
Right.
but he was participating
Right.
best as that he
The
could.
chairperson was supposed to explain that before we started the meeting.
It's possible that could have happened and I missed it. I have to admit that I don't always get especially in the beginning of a meeting, you might miss something quick and. But anyway, both those meetings, I actually wrote down on the top that there were only 3 people on my notes when I get to my report, but I'll be quiet till my turn.
Yeah. And anyway, I just wanted to bring that to your attention because I've been trying to push and, as much as, I can do from a bully pulpit, but at some point it may come down to if they're not showing up, then there are people, we do have alternates for both boards now. And I don't like the idea and I really want those people on
Well,
it.
it puts you in an awkward situation.
Yeah,
But it's got volunteers, a little bit more than volunteering when you're on a board.
right. Well, because it's a legal matter.
Yeah.
Somebody shows up with an application, they expect to be heard. And if there's nobody there, then we're falling down on our job. Anyway, I just
There's
wanted to bring
certain
that up.
things too legally, the Architecture and Historic Review Board cannot do unless it's a full board.
Right.
It's 5
Oh, yeah.
people. So technically, this past meeting, August 28th, they couldn't have done certain things. They didn't have to do those things,
Right,
but also sometimes the applicant's lawyers say outright, I'll do my spiel, but I don't want the board to vote unless it's full.
right, exactly.
That lawyers say that, the applicants, so.
Yeah,
I've had 15 years of listening to that, and attendance is a problem. On both boards.
we're on to financial, or did I miss something? Okay. Well, there's a whole list of numbers to look at. Things are going okay. Revenue is coming in at a reasonable rate. We're not flush, but we're not short, right, Brody?
Don't want to be negative.
Always a good thing.
Don't be
Right.
short or negative, not in the red.
Looking for- Pay the bills. So let's see, I'll make a resolution to pay $50,633.20 from the general fund. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion to expend from the tree fund $15,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a resolution to expend from planning and trustment agency $2,824.63. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I make a resolution to expend from the capital highway fund $5,675.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do we have anybody on the Zoom public input?
No, not a soul, Bill.
Yeah, okay.
You want me to quickly go through the 2 meetings?
Actually,
God bless you.
Excuse me.
we might make a change in that because of some legal potential problems, so maybe hold off on that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we'll hold it to the next meeting. But I want
Okay.
My notes are good for, as long as I
Yeah,
don't
right.
lose them.
Which will be October, right?
Was given some legal advice, so
No,
we
that's
need
totally
to.
fine.
Yeah,
Tony
right.
has said that before to me, and one day he actually took my papers.
Yeah.
He said, I got it.
Right.
No
Okay.
problem. I understand the issue.
Let's see, I guess a motion to adjourn unless there's something else.
We're meeting next October 11th.
That's
11,
correct, there is
yes.
no meeting next week.
we can do it in one meeting. We did it.
I think we did a good job in one meeting, and it might be good to just discuss that in the future. Maybe it keeps us more focused.
Right. Okay, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
I
Okay.
wait till she turns off.